Husband, 36 male, mad at me, 35 female, and seeking FWB online. My husband and I have been married for 10 years. We have 3 children together. We both work full-time. Of note, I am the breadwinner and more fiscally responsible, though I shoulder most of our expenses. We've always been tumultuous. However, things have been at a steady decline as of late. C. My husband, who believes that his responsibilities in life begin and end with going to work, is so god-awful upset that I don't make my vagina available to him at every waking moment. Besides sitting on the couch, watching YouTube videos and ignoring the needs of everyone and everything in the household, the only thing he seems to care about is sex. Sex this. Sex that. Every joke is sexual. Every comment is sexual. He has a high school level sense of humor, at best. Just loves to sit and watch stupid ass films like American Pie, etc., because they're all hormone-driven pieces of garbage. I am currently recovering from a very significant surgery that has left me mobility impaired for the time being. This is the latest in a long line of several procedures that also left me mobility challenged. I have a lifelong injury with chronic pain due to being in an unfortunate car accident. As a result, I have had increased depression and anxiety over the past couple of years. My career has been damaged because of it, etc. As such, I have spent a great deal of time alone, in our room. Recovering. Being sad. Planning out our next moves. Budgeting. Paying all the bills. Still working full-time, of course. But my God. Not enough of my vagina has been accessible to his pervasive need. On my birthday, last week, he joined me for a little bit, mostly to discuss how monogamy isn't realistic, and how we should probably divorce because my lack of affection is providing a poor example about relationships for our children. He then proceeded to insult my body, and then assumed that I would want to have sex with him. Early in the morning today I snatched his phone and went through it. He is so desperately seeking someone to screw that he's been talking with some married woman that lives 3 hours away. He tells her that he's 100% done with our marriage but is staying for financial security. And he is planning on driving up, in the truck that is in my name, the bill I pay, with the camper we just had to have, also in my name, and I pay for it, so that they can camp together and fornicate. While I take our kids on a family vacation, he vehemently refused to join in on. I'm more amused than upset. However, I did end up sending a message to the ogre woman and told her that if she touches any of my property, we'll have issues. I plan on confronting my toddler husband later. My question is this: given the cost of everything, what's the next step? Obviously, we need to separate. He needs a teenage-minded spouse that only cares about sex, too. And I need somebody I can feel secure with. The cost of housing in my area is revolting. All 3 of my children have some variety of special need, including autism. The next step is talking to lawyers and choosing one. Sure, it'll be an adjustment as a single mother with 3 children, but by the sounds of it right now you're taking care of 4 children, so it can only improve with him out of the picture. Keep copies of everything, all the messages, etc. Screenshot them. You may end up not needing them, but it doesn't hurt to have them. Look at your finances and work out where you want to live, etc. Perhaps somewhere the children have more services available or near some support for you. Record everything. Just because you cannot use it legally doesn't mean it isn't useful if he decides to pretend he never said those things. Protect your children from hearing any of his crap. I am sorry about your birthday. That truly sucks that he used it to suggest divorce and then sex. I hope that him leaving doesn't impact you negatively. How do I, 22M, explain to my girlfriend, 24F, that her gift made me disappointed? For context, we've been dating for a year and a half. I'm a college student graduating this year and my girlfriend just finished her internship and got a well-paying job, about $65K, 2 months ago. She's enjoying it and I'm happy for her. We both have our own places. She's also really into sports and I really enjoy rocks. My birthday was a month ago. She wasn't able to get me anything at the time because she was busy with work, so she took me out to my favorite restaurant and told me she'd get me something soon when she had time. Last night she gave me snacks, that she enjoys, and a $30 bathrobe she got from Target with the tag still on it. I know I could be more appreciative, but for her birthday last year I bought her $300 shoes, $200 speaker, and tickets to her favorite sports game. Can't specify without revealing too much. This past Christmas I bought her favorite player's jersey. She didn't get me anything. I didn't really mind, until last night when she gave me the robe. Her birthday is coming up, and she made a list of things I should buy her, like AirPods, a bookshelf, nice jeans, an iPad, and new shoes. She'll make comments about me getting her gifts being the bare minimum and my job as her BF. So gifts obviously mean a lot to her, and it makes me feel bad she doesn't have the same consideration towards me. How do I have this conversation with her? Am I being superficial for wanting more? How do I approach this? Edit. I've just had a talk with her about how her gift last night made me feel, and she explained that it was only the start of gifts she'd be getting me. She expressed that she'd also be upset if I got her a bathrobe and snacks for her birthday. She told me she's planning on getting me multiple gifts over time, so that's really sweet. What a sucker you are. That edit dude. You really believing that was the plan the entire time? Where is the logic behind giving many gifts over time? Buy her some snacks, that you enjoy, and a nice set of PJs. Stop going overboard for someone who wouldn't do the same for you. When it comes to gift giving, my husband and I discuss budgets. I don't know how much your favorite restaurant cost. It could have been a $75 dinner, or a $500 dinner. I will say it sounds like you went way overboard with her birthday. I'm surprised to hear a college student has over $500 to spend on non-essentials. Your B-day was a month ago. And when you bring it up a month later, she then says she's going to be getting you more gifts? Come on, dude. Sister wants me, 52F, to take another trip without my husband, 51M. Update. I've decided to tell my sister no thanks. I'm going to talk to her later about why she and her husband don't want my husband around. My husband is a good man and he shouldn't have to put up with that. I see now that I really should have been more bothered by her request, but all I could think about was how much fun we had on that first trip. Thanks everyone. Too long did not read. Went on a trip with my sister and her husband without my husband. Just got back from another trip with them and my husband, and now my sister wants me to come on another trip without my husband again. My sister, 58F, and her husband, 62M, belong to a vacation club and they're just about never at home. They often spend several weeks at a time in the Caribbean. A while ago, they invited my husband and I to join them. My husband couldn't get off work but said it was okay for me to go, so I spent a week with them in St. Kitts and we had a great time. When I got back, I convinced my husband to join the vacation club they're in so that we could start traveling with them. We just got back from our first trip with them. We spent 2 weeks in St. Martin. It was a lot of fun, but I'll admit the dynamics of this trip were different than the first one. The first one, all I had to do was book a plane ticket and show up. They took care of all the planning and paid for all the meals. This time, I wasn't able to spend as much time talking with my sister because my husband wanted to do things. I also felt more obligated to weigh in on what we did and where we ate, because my husband and I were paying for our own meals and I didn't want to spend too much money. My sister just texted me. She said it was fine seeing my husband, but she's wondering if I'd be willing to come on another trip by myself and leave my husband at home. I think part of the problem is that she suffers from depression. She and her husband do all the trips to help with her depression, but I also think she missed talking to me like she did on the first trip. Also, her husband and my husband get along okay, but they're not exactly buddies and they run out of things to talk about quickly and it gets awkward. This last part is what really bothers me. If I'm being totally honest with myself, I think I enjoyed the first trip more. It was a lot less stressful and I just had fun without having to worry about anything. I'm seriously tempted to ask my husband if it would be okay, but I know it will upset him. None of our kids live at home anymore, and he had a hard time being by himself for that week when I was gone the first time. I hate to think of what leaving him again would do to him, and I wonder how it would affect our marriage. We've been married 27 years. We've traveled together a lot, and the trip to Kitts was the first time I went off on vacation without either him or the kids. I am having a hard time reading this. Honestly, my first reaction is that you seem bored being at home. However, you keep insisting going on a trip without your husband despite being given solutions and ideas. So I guess I am asking, how is your relationship with your husband? What's the real reason behind wanting to get away from your husband? Your sister needs to get professional help, not vacations, controlling everyone around her, and using you as an emotional support pet. She can continue to use her husband for that bullshit since he seems fine with catering to her mental instability. You need to pull your head out of your sister's butt and quit enabling her. You have a family now, your husband, and she has hers. This sounds more like a problem between people in an open relationship than a sister thing. Enjoy your throuple, but at least divorce your husband first and don't you dare ask for alimony. F25, M27, ending an engagement over football? My F25 fiancé, M27, and I have been together for 4 years now, engaged just over 1. No, this is not a new occurrence, but I do feel like it is getting progressively worse, and I don't know how to handle it. He is a very huge fan of football, American football, not soccer, sorry other countries, and really just sports in general, but football is definitely his favorite. He follows a lot of news online about it and is constantly talking about anything football related all year long. I got used to this pretty quick, and I try to keep up with everything football so we can talk about it together. I won't say the team because I'm not here to talk about them, but I'll even put on a jersey to help support them, though I'm a fan of a different team. My point is, I try. Anyways, the problem isn't him being obsessed with the sport. It's the way he acts when watching the games. He absolutely loses it. I mean screaming at the top of his lungs, literally, hitting the floor, hitting a chair he's sitting in, slamming his desk if he's sitting there, the whole 9 yards. I have extreme anxiety, and I'm very sensitive to loud noises. I also get extremely anxious and emotional when a man specifically is yelling near or at me. He knows all of this, and we've talked about it many times. As long as they are winning it's all fine, and all I have to hear is happy yelling. Not great, but definitely not as bad. But when they are losing, I'm absolutely terrified to be near him or say the wrong thing or ask him to do anything. We are off on Sundays and Mondays, so often the games are happening when I need him to help me do chores around the house, or we have to go run errands. I won't even get into the fact that we can't even go out together without him watching the game on his phone the whole time. But I am so scared to ask him to help me with something while he's watching the game because I don't want to piss him off. I just told him tonight that I don't think I can spend the rest of my life dreading Sundays or Monday, Thursday nights for half of every year. It feels absolutely ridiculous to end a relationship over something like this, and I get over it in a few hours, but when it's happening, it feels like the worst thing in the world. It's also made me dread football season when I used to love it myself. I just truly want to know if I'm overreacting or if he has every right to let loose and do whatever he wants when football is on, and I should just learn to cope. ETA. Thank you everyone for your responses. You've opened my eyes. I don't think you're being unreasonable. Living in a constant state of panic and dread is not healthy at all. Eventually that panic will just turn into full-blown resentment and the marriage will be over anyways. Has your fiancé tried anything to help with his anger outburst? Maybe you guys need some marriage therapy that will also help him with anger management as well as your processing some of your trauma response. He's a grown man in a relationship. If he knows that he is making you uncomfortable and causing an issue between you, he needs to stop the behavior. It's fine to be passionate about something, but your partner shouldn't be afraid of you. Have you ever said those words to him? I'm afraid of you. If so, what's his response?